Always remember, your focus determines your reality. Stay close to me, and you'll be safe.
Hey guys, how are we all doing today? Hopefully you guys are doing pretty well out there. Today's video, I wanted to talk about Mr. PLO KOON, and I want to talk about him in specific with the new, I guess, Bad Batch, but also kind of wanting to showcase him how he is right now in the game with some of the Jedi. And I will now, I don't know, I definitely want to like hype him up for the Bad Batch, but at the same time, he is a very outdated kit, guys. He's been in the game for a very long time, and he's just not been just that awesome. He has some very niche uses. You know, his ship is amazing. I mean, his ship is one of the best ships in the game when it comes to reinforcement, right? But let's go and talk about him for today's video. This is all I really want to talk about for today's video, just PLO KOON. So where is my PLO KOON? I think he's all the way down here at the bottom. He's like gear 11, I want to say. Let's see. There he is. PLO KOON gear 11. So the reason why I want to bring this up is a couple different reasons. The main reason is just because of the new Hunter and his leadership with the Bad Batch. If you guys haven't known this already, the Bad Batch will be having and consisting rather of 4 different characters. So we still have one extra 5th that we don't know we might get or not. But also keep in mind that we have in total 6 marquees from the last data mine that we've had. So we could have potentially another character slotted in here as a 5th to make them very, very good. But if we don't get that 5th for this team, this guy right here, PLO KOON, I think could be a very, very decent 5th addition to this Bad Batch team. So he is a tank. He is as a leadership, Jedi, and Galactic Republic. So this guy, he's actually pretty good as is right now. He's pretty good. I wouldn't say he's anything crazy. He's like a lesser version of Shaak Ti, I would like to say, because Shaak Ti is like a lesser version of Gas, right? But then Shaak Ti still has lots of synergy with the clones, with other Jedi and Galactic Republic. She has lots of different uses, right? And she's a great leadership for the clones. But then you have PLO KOON, and he has a lot of different stuff. He has 2 different specials and then basic. His first basic rather dispels on a basic, and if any effect was dispelled, he gains defense up. So you got that going for you. You have an AoE that does not really do anything at all besides inflict offense down for a 70% chance. And then you have his other special, which is by far his best special, which gives out clone and Jedi allies 50% turn meter. And then the biggest thing right here is that all allies gain defense up. So if you guys didn't watch my last video about Hunter and talking about critical avoidance arrows, right there, yeah, you get the TM, which is huge, but guys, you get defense up for 4 turns. So now I want to kind of change gears. Let's go talk about this and go back to his leadership for just one quick second. Hunter, what does he have on his leadership again? Well, he gives out a lot. So one of the best things, like I talked about in my last video, was the evasion up and the critical avoidance that comes along with it. But this is the other part to it that I think PLO KOON might be very, very key in. And it says this. It says when Bad Batch allies use an ability while they have defense up, they deal true damage to all enemies. So what does PLO KOON give? We just read he gives out defense up for 4 turns. And as of right now, I couldn't think and I couldn't really see anybody that was in any direct correlation to any part of the clones that could give defense up at all. And PLO KOON was the only one I could see and think of that did off the top of my head. So imagine having defense up for 4 turns and then having these guys just, you know, spam specials, or not specials, but any abilities, dealing AoE true damage to all enemies. So that's going to be pretty huge, I want to say. I think that's going to be very, very huge for this whole team, because coming back into the game, you not only get defense up, but you also get that turn meter. So let's say he does happen to go first. He is not a very fast character, but let's just say theoretically he goes first and he gives out the TM, and then you have the defense up for 4 turns, and then these clones are going to be doing their basics, their specials, whatever. That's a lot of extra damage, and true damage stacks, and it is based off of your flat offense damage that you might have in the game for physical, and you can just easily, for me, I can easily see them just doing lots of extra damage off in the battle very, very, very early on, rather. So I just think PLO KOON could be a really, really nice addition here for this Bad Batch team, maybe a 5th for the team. We don't know yet, but I think that is something that is worth mentioning. Again, I think this team, we already have a great leadership. We still don't even have the other 3 characters even we don't even know their kits, so we don't know what we might get. We might get a better version for that, you know, defense up character that like PLO KOON can give out, but even better. I still think, though, that this whole team needs somebody who can get out in front of the enemies and give out some more turn meter. Maybe they're just really fast. I can do some swapping of turn meter like this guy can do. We don't even know how fast this guy is for his stats, but he does have a TM swap, and it can be pretty good. I'm not sure how good that will be because it's just with a clone trooper, but it could mean something pretty huge. We'll have to see, though, for this. But just the fact alone that with this guy, you're going to have extra evasion stealth, and then based off the lead, if you have evasion, well, guess what? You have more critical avoidance. And then now, if you have like a PLO KOON in there, or anybody who gives out defense up, you will now be dealing even more true damage to all enemies. It's like an AoE. It's pretty crazy. I gotta just say this again. I'm very, very intrigued. I'm very mesmerized, I guess you could say, by this guy's kit, and it's just something that I think is worth looking into. Back to PLO KOON, though. He has a really bad leadership. It's called Overwatch. You have a % chance to remove stealth from each enemy at the start of the turn. Nothing crazy whatsoever. But I still think, you know, with Kiarimundi being in the game and lots of other people getting him with, you know, 7-star and whatnot, maybe some relics onto him, I still think, and also coming back to the whole thing with this being the prequel content and Clone Wars content, and we also have the app icon being Darth Maul, and also we seeing the Grandmaster Yoda, I don't think it is far-fetched to see some reworks of these older Jedi. I mean, imagine if this PLO KOON is going to be that 5th to add into that whole Bad Batch team. We don't know, but I think that is something to look into, guys. So, PLO KOON, awesome stuff. Hopefully, he is going to be some sort of useful, not just in the ship side of things, but also now in the characters with, you know, maybe he's Bad Batch, maybe some Kiarimundi stuff, whatever. I don't know, but I'm all for Mr. PLO KOON. So, the next part of this video, probably the last part I want to show you guys, is just how he works right now in the game without any touch-ups, without these Bad Batch being even introduced in the game yet, just how he works with this current Jedi teams that we have in the game. So, I have 2 different battles on my GAC streams that I have done in the past using PLO KOON with JKR to kill a Rey. So, I know this is just a cleanup, but this is a cleanup with a Rey who just started off the battle with using a whirlwind, and I think that's definitely worth noting. So we still got some marks off onto the Rey because this is how you usually play these battles, right? And these counters to a Rey. But one thing that I like is, again, with PLO KOON's extra turn meter that he gives out to the Jedi allies and the clones. He does give half of that out to non-clone and Jedi allies, but look at this, guys. We use this special, give that TM. This pretty much guarantees our JKR and our gas to get even more hits off onto the Rey before she goes into an ultimate, or maybe even gets off another potential whirlwind. It's very, very huge, I think, in my opinion at least, to have PLO KOON in here. And usually you see this counter that is based around not using a PLO KOON, but rather using like a Shock T, because you do need to have that Dispel on a basic to remove the critical avoidance, or critical hit immunity rather, onto the Rey, so you can apply those crits, remove her mastery stacking rather with the Inspire, and do those nice big hits onto her. So like right now, we are almost going to kill her. Yeah, this is a preloaded Rey, but this still works even if this is a non-preloaded team. This is still good. And look at that, we just got another second mark before she has even gone into ultimate, guys. That is very, very huge. I think that's very cool. So I wouldn't say that to this specific Rey counter that PLO KOON is the best 5th in this team, but, you know, if you have him with relics, because this will not work if you have him gear 11 or gear 12, but if you have a PLO KOON with relics, this works amazingly. I think this is a great person to use in here, especially if you wanted to save, you know, your Shock T, your gas, whatever. Not your gas, because you need gas in this, but like maybe a Shock T you want to save, and some other clones. But look at this. Look at this. We're going to dispel the holdo, and we're going to go back onto the Rey. So let's see here. AoE probably, right? Let's do an AoE, and oof, nice. Another one of these. Another one of these. Let's give it to Bastley for a basic. Oh, maybe we just kill her. Look at that. It's just so cool though, guys. I think the fact alone that you can utilize somebody who is nearly garbage, nearly low tier, bottom of the barrel character in this whole game, and using him and finding some cool uses out of him in a GAC type of format of a game mode that is very, very competitive. I think that's very cool, and I think that's something worth mentioning here. I mean, yeah, you have his uses with his ship, because his ship is top tier with the whole negotiator teams and all that sort of stuff with his reinforcement, but now you can actually use him here in a counter. So this one probably not the best showcase because this was a preloaded team. But here we go. This is another team with Ray. This one was an auto set team, so it was Ray lead, but with a lot of different people here with the whole light side. But look at this. So first things first, you're gonna mark the Ray. PLO KOON comes in as his basic. He dispels that critical hit immunity buff. And now we get some more hits onto the Ray with, you know, the Hermit Yoda's assist and then the Basila's buffs. And at this point, you still have to mark here. You have an AoE, get some big ol' hits onto her. She gets saved by damage immunity, whirlwind off on a gas. We eat it because of that. And you just keep on going and going. And I also want to point out that this gas that we have modded here is modded for strictly defense. So imagine if this guy was modded for even more offense and just pure DPS output. And look at this. So actually, right there, PLO KOON comes in, and he, guess what? He uses his TM. And I'm telling you guys, the turn meter here that he can grant on his special in this counter alone, and in really any other counter that I've seen, but in particular this one because it's a freaking Ray counter, it is so big because right now you can see here that she's in the red. And let's say we didn't have PLO KOON here. We did not have that turn meter to give back out to the other Jedi. Well, she could possibly get back into ultimate and save herself before she actually goes and dies. But now with PLO KOON, we use this special. We give our Revan full turn meter and everybody else nearly half or plus more turn meter to us, to the Jedi. And she's already dead. I think, again, this is definitely something I want to look into. This probably, in my opinion, might struggle a little bit versus those Ray with the Finn bro and the Poe bro. That was kind of weird to say. The resistance heroes. But I can definitely see this working versus really any other variation out there because of just what it can do, the turn meter effects that it gives out to the Jedi, giving out more turns to deal some more damage with gas onto the Rey before she goes in ultimate or perhaps another whirlwind. But as we can see here, we killed her before any of that stuff happens, and you know how these ones go. As long as you kill the Rey, these are easy wins. So speed this one up a little bit. Again, this is probably on the best showcase because this is not like a fully like a full resistance team with the bros and whatnot, but definitely does work pretty dang well, guys. So Mr. PLO KOON, I think this guy is so fun. He has a very cool kit, and like I said, I don't think he's like garbage tier in the game, but he has a very niche use, and if you can kind of use him and find that niche use, he's going to do you some pretty amazing things, as we just saw with the Rey counters. And hopefully, fingers crossed, he can be somewhat used with the Bad Batch if we have no 5th added on for that team. But, you know, the most exciting thing that I think when it comes to these Jedi that are Galactic Republic is, you know, having the whole thing about Cam and his whole team not very good. And then, you know, having that old thing that was brought up by the devs about the Mace Windu rework might be happening still from last year. It just it gives me rather more hope and longing for these guys getting more touch-ups, more reworks, and making them a bit better in the game. And I hope that PLO KOON deserves, and he should get some of that love as well to go along with that whole team. But guys, I think that's where I'm going to stop it for today. PLO KOON, I think he is actually very good. He has a very strong use in the game outside of just ships and his awesome reinforcement with the cleansing and the turning and all that sort of stuff. But I think he's awesome, guys. And again, I'm very stoked about this Hunter's kit. I mean, this guy, such a cool character and such a cool leadership. I'm very excited to see everybody else in that whole team and when they do come out this whole month of April. But guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a like, share it around, and sub to the channel if you guys have not subbed yet. We are trying to hit that 15K sub goal, guys, so definitely hit that button if you have not already. That's it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I will see you all there, guys. Peace out, and have a good one. See you guys.